Greetings and salutations.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to Needles at the Ready. I'm Kevin.
I'm Ray.
Today is Saturday, January 20th, 2024, and
Wow.
this is episode 103.
Holy cow. Hey, it's 2 days before my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday. Today
is
This is our YouTube channel.
Yes, it is. Okay, yeah. Let's start there.
This is our YouTube channel where we talk about knitting, crocheting, yarn dyeing, yarn buying, and all the fun, fibery things that go along with that. So welcome to all the returning viewers and welcome to all the new viewers. Thanks for swinging by and checking us out. Hope you guys are doing well and had a good 2 weeks. Okay, good. I guess that's
I don't know. Like, yes. I also have those wishes for you. I hope that you had a wonderful 2 weeks as well. I feel like we just did this, but it was 2 weeks ago. It was a fortnight ago.
It's probably because like the prior episode was a month, and that's quite a long time for us. So
yes, very true.
Things are back to the norms here.
Things sure are. We didn't have much of a busy couple of weeks.
No, we had some like normally things, you know, the normal stuff that people do. We also, I think we were still in the process of recovering. Like there were a couple days where I was super low energy. Like, so I think COVID still kind of lingered. And now I feel
mine's been kicked to the curb. I feel great.
Yeah, no, I feel good. This week was a little bit more back to normal, especially like the end of the week. So that's good. What else? Let's do some admin-y stuff because we did miss a couple things the last episode, and we had some things wrap up. So
we had a lot of things wrap up.
What we're going to do
now that we're more organized this time around.
We forgot to pull a winner from the 100th episode. And it's actually just because we don't have the physical item with us. Right. So we had, the team over at Cline had reached out to us and wanted to offer a prize for our 100th episode that they would be shipping directly to the winner. So we have now pulled that winner, and that person is...
Katie Coughlin. Congratulations. You commented, congrats on 100 episodes. I've been watching for years and look forward to every fortnight. Laugh out loud. You all are a joy, and I hope there are another 100.
Thanks, Katie.
So if that is you, please reach out to us via email. Is so much easier. And just say Cline winner or 100th, episode winner, or just say winner, and we'll go into there. And include your real name and mailing address, and we will pass that information over to Cline, and then you'll get your lovely prize. That was so nice of them to donate. So thank you so much, and I apologize that we forgot about it. A lot of things going on.
And then next up was
winners, chicken dinners.
Closed out, or we had wrapped up our Gifts by Folk 2023.
We did.
So there were a couple different pieces of that. We had some prizes from Clinton Hill Cashmere, one from Hope Made Yarn Co. and Keisha from Simply Vintage Designs, and then Adela from Lolo Bean Yarn Co. sent
a really huge package, so we're splitting that up.
Yeah, so she sent some yarn and some goodies, so we are going to split that up, and there will be 2 recipients for that. And those winners are...
So I chose, this was just on Instagram by using the hashtag Gifts by Folk 2023. It was to help support the vendors that had a really rough time there. And then the second piece of that, to what Kevin's point was, that for every time the hashtag was used, we were going to make a $1 donation to the American Association for people with disabilities, which we'll have that link down below. We made our donation this morning, which was really, really nice. It felt good to be able to do that. But I will link that information down below. So if you feel like you would like to make a donation or learn a little bit more about how you can support those with disabilities to make things a little bit more accessible out in our communities, please go ahead and check out that organization. It's a wonderful organization. Okay, so moving on to our prizes. So I randomly swiped through Instagram and just randomly chose some winners, and I'm looking at them and they're all wonderful. So this is the first one. This is by This Nurse Knits.
Wait, we know her.
Yeah, so congratulations. So she was supporting the vendors that had a less than ideal fall festival experience. And this mug is by Golden Earth Designs. This is absolutely adorable.
So cute.
It's a mug with like a little sheep on it, right? I'm assuming that's a sheep with the wheels.
Oh, I don't know. You know what I was
is
thinking?
it
Like a porcupine, or I was thinking something
armadillo
else.
or something?
I don't know.
It's super cute.
It's
the
very
cutest
cute,
thing.
but that's really funny.
So, congratulations. Now, I know that this was on Instagram, but if you are seeing this, if you can also please email us, that's a lot easier for us. Sometimes Instagram messages get lost in the shuffle.
Yes.
So congratulations. And we'll randomly choose prizes to go along with these, right?
Oh, sure.
We'll
I didn't know. I didn't know if there was a method.
I didn't have that method. I wanted to choose some winners. Okay, and the next one is Craftivistagram. It was a beautiful Notions pouch. They purchased this like last year's Woolen Folk, wanted to pick up some more, but wasn't able to get to them, but then ended up going ahead and supporting them and indulged and ended up purchasing another Notions pouch, which is so cute. The Notions pouch is by that's the shawl. Is by, oh my goodness, my eyes. Krista Jackal? It's a cute little Notions pouch and a beautiful shawl. That's the Hohi shawl. Okay, that's that one. And then I'll go a little bit faster. This one's for Maria J. Bingham. She purchased some yarn from Botanical Yarns, which
very
is
pretty,
gorgeous. And then lastly, now we were looking at these bags while we were there. Remember the Harris bags that were on the 5th floor?
Yes.
So that was hard to get to.
Yes.
But this is Kim Knits for Zen. She says, or they say that they found the ultimate project bag for their knitting at Woolen Folk, and it's by Solulu, handmade in this magenta Harris tweed bag.
Very pretty.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
So congratulations to all of our winners. Thank you all for spreading the word and helping to spread that support out and supporting those vendors. And again, if you would like to, because there was some accessibility issues, if you would like to participate or give a little bit or learn a little bit more about supporting those with disabilities, please check out that link down below. I think we ended up making a $100 donation, which was really awesome. But I also signed up for their yearly thing, so we'll continue to make those supports.
Nice.
So that's that.
And then we had a prompt last episode with the word kits.
Did.
So that was to win some kits that were
that'll
provided
link really nicely into
Berry Meadow. I know, right? It's like I planned this.
It's like you did.
So some kits that Berry Meadows Farms sent over after we ran into them at Fiber Festival of New England, and Ray bought a kit. We showed the finished.
Surprise, surprise. A lot of you had a lot of comments, a lot of things to say about my kit purchasing.
Correct. So that's actually one of his trackings this year, is how many kits he purchased.
I forgot about that. I haven't purchased any yet.
But you did receive one.
I did receive one, but that was a purchase from last year. So that doesn't count.
Okay, no, that wouldn't count. Good job. All right, so how many were there? 3?
3.
All right, so we picked the 3 winners for those surprise kits. We have no idea what's in them. So the winners are...
I know, and that's really exciting. The winners are Kathy Weaver, 5363. You say, love the chicken kit and the chatty podcast. Enjoy so much. Actually, I think all of our winners mentioned the chicken kits.
I know. There were so many comments about the chickens.
So that was there were 765 comments that used the word kit. In there, and that was the code word that we ended up.
There was a lot of comments to reply to.
Yeah, sure was. We replied to it, and I think we hit almost every single one. If we didn't reply, we at least hearted it so that that we read it. We literally read every single comment.
Yes.
Okay, and the second winner is at Angelac8553.
Angela K.
Angela K. 8553. I don't like how YouTube does all these weird things now. So. It's not. Shush. You listen, it's my turn. The emotional support chicken kit is amazing. I may have to make a chicken for every member of my family this year. Yes, we are going to be making quite a few chickens. So if that is you, congratulations. And then last but not least is OK Painter 9700. You say, I got the emotional support chicken. See, all three of them said chicken. Pattern from Ravelry within a minute of seeing yours. So glad I can get the pattern without having to wait on the kit. Speaking of kits, fingers crossed. Well, congratulations. Your finger crossing paid off. So if that is you, please reach out. That was fun. It's you know what's really fun is that we have no idea what's in these kits.
I know. So when you guys get them, tag us.
Yeah.
Take a picture of the kit and tag us in that because that'd be fun to see.
Or if you don't have like Instagram or something, just shoot us an email or whatever. Let us know somehow.
All right.
So that'll transition.
Speaking of kits, one thing first is you all.
Speaking of addiction, no, I'm just kidding.
Went out in force and picked up some emotional support chickens.
Yeah.
So whether or not it was the kit or the pattern, so many of you guys reached out and said you bought one or you bought the pattern or
and we've been seeing them popping up now on Instagram.
So many.
So good.
So I think that's really cool. The lovely folks over at Knitting Tree LA even reached out and were blown away by the number of purchases you guys made. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So really you guys are going to have a bunch of kits coming in. And so that leads us into a new make-along. It's going to be called a kit-along.
Kit-along.
So somebody mentioned it in the last comments that we should do one. So we're going to do a kit-along from starting today until the end of March.
Yes.
Right? So any kit that you either already have or that you're purchasing, we're just going to say no whips, and we're not going to consider an Advent a kit.
Right.
Because some come with patterns, some don't, so that's a little wishy-washy. Yeah. So any kit that you have or you purchase in this time frame, just complete a kit. Yeah, and we'll have threads on Ravelry, we'll have a chatter, and we'll have an FO thread.
Yes.
And then we'll give away some kits.
And kits. I think... So we're doing this on the fly, or I'm doing this on the fly. What do you think about since some people purchased the chicken kits already and started them and sometimes have finished them? Should we make an exception for the chicken kit if you have the pattern, like if you just put together your own yarn?
Yeah. Because then we run into I know it's just for the chicken, but then let's not put together a kit that you purchased. No putting together kits.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought with the chicken because people have already purchased them and might have already done it. And
I know.
Maybe that's the only kit they've ever purchased. But it's okay. We'll, let's just rock and roll with what we say.
Yeah.
Start, no whips. Yep. Start fresh. We have a couple of kits here. Do you want to see my dirty little secret that I just took a picture of?
Well, some of those are mine too. Like I know at least 2 of those are mine.
So these are double stacked. I run a little bit behind on my...
Just double? I think there's some triple, quadruple stackness happening here.
So I run a little bit behind on my Going Gnome kits, and I have another one that I will show you that just came. So that's that's above my head right there. But this one's not a Going Gnome kit. This is a felted soap kit.
Yeah. So
that could be fun to do. And it doesn't have to be, knitting or crocheting. It could be the felting and...
It could be sewing.
Yeah. If you have something.
Yeah.
For sure. So anyway, I think that'll be fun. Did you say when it was going to run to? I might have...
The end of March.
The end of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like 2.5 months.
Great.
So that's all the admin stuff. Now we'll kind of... This is chatty. We'll talk about...
I found a kit that I got.
I know what kit I'm doing.
But it's going to be a big undertaking. Although I haven't done a shawl in a long time. Do you want to see?
Yeah.
I just found it. So this is the Aurora Cabin shawl that we got at Tea.
We got it at Perfect Blend Tea and Yarn Shop in Saugerties.
And so I got all the yarn from Murky Depths. They had some beautiful kits there. And this is on their single ply. They're actually going to be at Vogue Knitting Live in New York. This is the Aurora Cabin shawl.
By Stephen West.
So I'm excited. I haven't done... Like I said, I don't know the last time I did a large shawl.
No, you know what would be fun? If you could finish that during this period of time, because you got that on our trip last April to Margarettsville. And we're going on our trip this April to Ludlow, Vermont. Same week. So it'd be fun to have that done prior to that.
We were looking for some yarn shops up that way, but
yes,
they're like 30 miles away.
If anybody knows of any good yarn shops to check out between here and Ludlow, Vermont, let us know.
Like on the way.
All right, we're super chatty.
It's only been 15 minutes.
I know.
We don't have a lot to show.
So let's talk about...
They're talking about baby.
Go into what... Aren't you? What we've been up to for we kind of talked about it.
I thought that's where I set us up for in the beginning, but it's okay.
No. So the only thing really I did was I went out to lunch with the knitting posse because I have a very flexible work schedule. I'm able to do things.
Yeah, your boss is very, very flexible with it.
I'm able to do things like that. So we went to this really nice restaurant in Westport called Terrain. And then after that, we just shot over, because literally right across the street is Westport Yarns. So we shot over to Westport Yarns to have a gander and may have made a couple purchases. And that's really it for me. This last 2 weeks has been a ton of organizing. Organizing my notes for all of my dye stuff, like my recipes. So trying to get everything into one spot. So that's been going well. Doing some dyeing, and guys, I've started creating a stash on Ravelry.
What?
See, this cube, and that cube have all been entered into Ravelry.
So if you're interested to what's behind Kevin
in those cubes,
check out his Ravelry.
So I have what 1, 2.
I want to start doing that.
I have 6 more to do, maybe some others, because over here
we kind of have a little mix.
Yeah, we have a mix on some of them, but these are definitely kind of mine, but they're also, some of those are a free-for-all, but I'm going to put them all in.
Yeah.
So I'm just slowly taking one cube, filling up an IKEA bag. I bring it downstairs where I have my little photo set up for when I take pictures of my yarn and take pictures and then bring them back up. It's been very cathartic.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed that.
I've loved doing it, and I love seeing what I have. And I will say the majority of my yarn out of those 3 cubes are Trilogy Yarns, Les Garçons, Amanda Knits, Woolens and Ash, and Lolo Did It.
Yeah.
That's the majority of the yarn.
Yeah.
Which is fun to see.
It is fun. Yeah, I'm really excited to break into mine. So these 3, 1, 2, 3.
This one's yours too. For sure. This is a mix.
Yeah, I think these 4 are primarily like stuff that I've purchased or, was specifically like for me. We do end up at some points like, oh, can I take this yarn? Can I take that yarn? Which is fine. But this is primarily my side. Like when I get yarn, I put it in those cubes.
Yeah.
Fingering. This is all fingering weight.
Mine are.
This is some DK.
Yeah, those 3 have a little bit of DK in it, not much, but so between those 3 cubes and my purchases from Westport Yarns, and with one of my projects that I'm knitting, I have 120 skeins so far, which is less than I thought.
Yeah,
out of those 3 cubes, because I think you and I tried to do some fake math a while ago.
Right, and we came up with like 700 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I have that much, but yes. I think it's been...
the cubes have... Okay.
Very fun.
No problem.
But... And then we went out to dinner with your brother,
oh my gosh,
our sister-in-law, and our nieces, and it was just such a great... It was on a whim.
I wish they delivered, because that would be great for lunch today.
I know. It was on a whim, and it was fantastic. And I actually ate sour cream for the first time, really, by itself, and I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it was on... We got a mashed potato pizza.
Yeah.
So we went, our by far, our favorite pizza place...
In Stratford. It's called The Parlor. If you live in our area, go buy some pizza from them.
It's so good. It's an individual size. They're a little pricier, but it's worth every penny. It's like not fire roasted. What's it called?
Brick oven. Yeah.
Flat crust, crispy.
Gorge.
Yum, yum, yums.
All right, so that's that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. I haven't really done anything.
You've worked.
School's starting back up again. So I got my books and stuff, and the semester starts tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And then last thing is next weekend, we will be at Vogue Knitting Live for sure on Saturday. Sunday, we may meander through.
It's funny that we both said the same word.
Yeah, we just have to be back in
Like
Stratford for... we have to be back in Stratford for our makeup Christmas dinner.
Christmas redo
that Sunday, which I have to remember to buy the stuff for lasagna.
Right.
But that's been it. So let's talk about some knitting. What are you wearing?
Great. Glad you asked. So I am currently wearing my Vertices Unite. This is the second one that I've knit. I've only knit two. This is knit out of Les Garçons, using their clubs. Wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is, because this one here, I just took a picture of.
It's so good. I love this pattern.
I know, me too. It's one of my favorite shawls to knit.
And so I wanted to wear a shawl today, and I love this one. I love the colors, and also it's just kind of like a Max and Vincent officially opened their yarn shop now in Montreal. So if you don't follow along, please follow them on Instagram. If you're ever in the area, go and visit the yarn shop. It's a beautiful space. Some of the pictures that they posted are absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. The colors and the yarn that they're carrying is completely like right up our alley. We can't wait to go and see them. So congratulations, boys. That was really, really excellent job.
We'll have to go when it's warmer.
Yeah, and maybe not raining, because we got stuck in the rain the last time we were walking around Montreal.
And the day that we left.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have somebody come and pick us up or drop us off, because I don't want to take your car.
Kate!
Deal with all that stuff. Yeah, Kate, you want to come?
Her and I were texting about it yesterday, I think.
So that's what I'm wearing. And then I was going to wear a hat, but I have a couple of hats to show. But maybe I'll show that after you.
I am wearing a hat. This was one that was sent to us by a lovely viewer. She knows who she is. And she sent us this, and it's a Musselburgh. It is knit out of... Musselburgh. This is knit out of fiber optic yarns. It's called Pennies from Heaven. It is on
There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Do you know that song?
I don't.
Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. You know?
Yeah.
Don't you know each cloud contains?
So it's
a good song.
It is. It's beautiful. It is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So, because I was wearing this, I decided to grab another knit piece, but it's quite warm. But I'll just show it anyways, because this is all fiber optic yarns as well. This is my shawlography.
Yeah, this is really beautiful. I love the colors here.
I bought this, Pat. I bought this kit. Was it a kit, or did I?
No, you chose these. You do such a great job picking colors, Kevin, honestly.
So this I purchased at Rhinebeck 2021. Yeah. And it is all fiber optic yarns. This was a lovely knit because it was the first time I did brioche, bobbles, shrimps. Yeah. So yeah, this is my shawl.
Yeah,
maybe
I
will
throw
it on
squishy
because the heat's off now.
And soft. Yeah, I know. It was really warm before.
It's a beautiful base. It's really, really nice.
Is that's the same base? No.
Yes, it's the same base.
Same base.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I have no idea what any of the colors are, but there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So
that's my most disappointing knit, I think.
Because
my version. I tried to put the colors together, and I struggle with that. And I wanted to have it like bright and fun.
Oh, and the welts. First time I did welts.
Yeah, the welts were fun too.
I think.
I really do enjoy his mystery knits because it's something new, and I like his shawls. There's always something new in there for me that I've never done before.
Yes. So.
That person who knows who they are also sent me a Musselburgh hat as well, which is also knit out of fiber optic yarn, and I don't think they included it in the card that they sent, but we're very interested to know what needles you used for this and like what your gauge was. We can certainly measure gauge, but this colorway is called Bad Moon Rising, and they fit like
incredibly well.
Yeah, because I've done a few Musselburghs before, and they just didn't fit right, you know.
Yeah, these are a good fit.
Yeah, so this is a good fit. Definitely a good fit.
I'll send a message. Actually,
yeah, if you're watching, reach out to us because I'm very interested.
Yeah, I would love to know the needle size.
Because then I want to cast one on
for next weekend. Yeah. I would love to bring one to New York and just have something.
I mean, I know like you can use any gauge that any needles that you want, and that's the beauty of the pattern is that you measure your gauge after you get a certain number of rows. But even when I'm measuring that gauge, like for some reason, it still just didn't work out so well.
Did I keep any of mine? Or did I just knit them for for the kids that year?
We knitted a few of them for the kids.
Yeah, we did a year of the boys. The girls that was the year they got the love notes.
Yeah, they got the love notes. Yeah.
All right, so knitting wise, I have no FOs and I have 3 whips to speak of.
Okay. I have 2 finished objects and I have 3 whips, I believe.
Sidebar. Because we were going to ask people some questions to help us out. So, guys, if you know, we've been obsessed with Criminal Minds.
Beyond.
A couple seasons ago in an episode, Spencer was wearing this. I'm on the hunt for a pattern that's incredibly similar because I want to make this.
Do you want to turn your brightness up a little? Oh, maybe not.
Oh, yeah. No, maybe you're right.
Just because it looks a little. Yeah, that's great.
I would like this vest.
It's beautiful.
So if anybody knows of this vest, please send a message. Thank you.
Like, it had to have hit the
I Googled
community, you know what I mean, at that time. That was because we're on season, that was probably from season 5.
5 or 6.
And they're on season 17.
Right, and we just started season 10. And so I've been looking for it. I Googled. Some people in like our knit groups and friend groups have sent some suggestions. So if you can think of one off the top of your head that looks like that, please send me a message with it. And that was my sidebar. So you have 2 FOs.
I do. I have 2 FOs. Now, these I'm knitting as part of the knit along that the our friends at the Knitting Posse are hosting. Do they have a hashtag? I can't remember
I'll look.
off the top of my head. Okay, you look. So this is by using any Thea Coleman pattern. Thea Coleman had a sale, or they had a coupon code for some Thea Coleman patterns. Kevin went a little bit out of control and purchased 20 of her patterns.
You're such a liar.
How many did you purchase?
Like 10 to 12.
Okay, so Kevin went, still, I think that's a lot, purchased 10 to 12
I'm going to double check.
patterns from her and used the coupon code, which is great. And I don't know if the coupon code is still good or not. It's not. Okay. So what I saw was and this also is going to be an ask for you guys too. As we
8.
Oh, 8. Oh, okay. That's much more affordable. During when I show some of my whips, I'm going to ask for some help. But I've noticed with myself, my gauge has changes when it comes to cabled patterns, more so than I think I've ever realized, to the point where I don't have enough yarn. So my gauge is, is too big. And so anyway, I found this cabled hat pattern from Thea Coleman. It's called One Bourbon, and there are 2 other hats, 1 beer and 1 whiskey, and
one
that bourbon, 1 whiskey, 1 beer.
Good job.
Thanks.
That is actually an ebook, so that's why I purchased it, because there were 2 in it that I was interested in, but it was an ebook, so I bought the ebook that included all 3.
As one does. So this is the pattern. Let me pull that up for you. And this, whoops, sorry, beg your pardon. This is One Bourbon. It's a really fun cabled hat pattern. The cables are neat. It's almost like a lattice or like crossovers.
Yeah.
Super cool. Thea Coleman also goes by Baby Cocktails, if you don't know, on Instagram. And this is what I have. What? It's colorful. It's lovely.
It's a beautiful color.
It's beautiful.
It's a really nice pattern.
Yeah, it fits me so well. I was really nervous though, because I ended up having to take out 1 entire repeat, which I think is 8 rows or 12 rows or something. Hold on, I can probably tell you. 12. 12 rows. So this is 12 rows shy of the finished. Now this fits me like a beanie would. It doesn't have any, any slouch, but I really love how it fits. I did she gives you some suggestions for a cast on, but I did a 1x1 cable cast on. I used the Brooklyn Tweeds like tutorial for that. which is super easy to follow. I use the written tutorial. I think there's a video as well that goes along with it, but it's really easy to follow. And then I don't think I made any other modifications to this. Like I said, I just cut out the, look how fun.
Yeah, the crown is fantastic.
Crown is amazing.
What size needles is it knit on?
I will tell you all of everything now. So it is a US 6 for the... Wait, let me just make sure. I should probably just check my notebook. I started also, Kevin for Christmas got me into the Rocket books. And so for this year, what I'm going to be doing is putting my patterns in the Rocket book, scanning them, and then I can erase the page and, once they're finished, and I'll have like my collection online too, all my notes and stuff. Okay, so one bourbon. So I made the second size for a 20-inch circumference head. I used US 6s for the brim and US 7, which is a 4mm and a 4.5mm needle for the body. I used Hudson & West Forge, which is 70% US Merino and 30% Corriedale. And the colorway is mustard. And let's see, I was a little bit nervous that I wouldn't have enough to do 12 more rounds of cables, because my, like I said, my gauge was a little bit funky. So I did end up with 14 grams of yarn left over, which might have been enough, but I didn't want to take that chance. So yeah, completed 3 of 4 repeats, which was 12 rows shy. And then I did put a note here that I'd like to try to go down a needle size for cable work going forward, because as you'll see in one of my whips, I'm losing yarn chicken pretty badly. This only took me like 3 days to knit, and I was only knitting like at nighttime while we were watching Criminal Minds. It is a 12-row repeat, but the cables are super easy to follow. The pattern is written very well. I absolutely love the color of it. I still would consider this like a neutral, but it's a bright neutral, right? Would you consider this like a neutral?
I mean,
it's just, maybe. It's so warm and so cozy on my head. I highly, highly recommend. I love the patterns. I love these knit like columns that go up. And then, like I said, the crown, I think the crown is like the best. I did block this one. I just soaked it and laid it flat to dry. And I used Kevin's trick I blocked it with the cuff or the brim already folded, so that it gives it a little bit more of shape and doesn't kind of like pull down. So you can kind of see, where that is. But I love the cable cast on. It's nice and round. It goes right into our my 1x1 cables. Sorry, I feel like I have to sneeze.
That's a very nice pattern.
Yep.
And this was one of the skeins that I purchased at Westport Yarn because it was like 40% off.
Right. So this is a acquisition as well as a finished object for me.
Now it's out of my stash.
Now it's out of your stash. But isn't it? I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think the color's great.
Think it's beautiful.
I love the cable pattern.
The yarn.
I think it's a really great hat.
Here's it up close.
So, actually, I'm sorry. The hashtag for the knit along is, I just had it up. It is baby cocktails and posse cow.
Cute.
So I went, So here, cocktails and posse cow, and I believe this runs. It may run until the end of March. So definitely. Check them out.
She has a ton of patterns. She's so sweet too.
Yeah, we met her at Brooklyn General when we were there for the Mayak.
Yeah,
Hoagie.
She was our bartender.
Yeah, she made a drink. She had one drink recipe that she had made. Yeah. So yes, it was very nice to meet her during the flooding in Brooklyn.
I know that was. All right, so that's that. I can't say better things about the pattern. I thought it was super cool and super easy. So the next one that was on my list that I finished was One Beer, also by Thea Coleman. It's just a really cool patterned hat. No cables. It's just knits and purls. I also did this in a size 2 for a 20.25 inch circumference. I knitted out of US 6s for the ribbing, and then US 7 for the body of the hat. So this is the hat. I think it looks so cool. Again,
it's a nice little textured hat.
Nice. Yeah, it's like it fits very well. Again, it's like a beanie style. I love the patterning in here. And again, I love the little knit columns. So like it kind of like, you know, it kind of matches similar style to that with the pearls inside and some of the texture. This brim was only like 1.5 inches, 1x1. Also, again, I did the 1x1 cabled cast on.
Okay.
Which also I appreciate not having to like measure your tail. Like, pull out your tail and then you just do the cable cast on. It's super easy.
Would that be a good cast on for socks?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
If you do
it feels pretty stretchy.
Well, you can...
Like, it's pretty stretchy.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe. Oh, that'd be interesting to try. I haven't thought about that before because I always do German twisted.
Yeah.
So maybe... I thought about trying a tubular or...
Me too.
But now with that, I think that would be a good option.
Yeah, because then you have all of your yarn. Like, you don't have to worry about all of those things. And then to make it easier, and I did it on the other hat as well. Once I got done with the ribbing, I just wove in my tail because I like to weave in my tail going up, up one side and down the other, just so I don't have to worry about it later on. And then it was just one less strand of yarn that hangs down. So that was just something that I thought was good.
On the folded brim one, did you do what I did, where you wove it in on the...
I did. I wove it in
exterior
on the
of the
outside
house,
because as you fold it, it becomes the inside.
Smart.
Yeah, I thought that was smart. Good job, Kev. This was stash yarn that we've had it in our stash for a very long time. It's Knit Picks, Wool of the Andes. The colorway is Mineral Heather. We had 2 50-gram balls of this. I have a lot of this left over still. I did have to go into this is the second ball. But I also modified this to add 2 additional rounds before I started my decreases. So you're supposed to have, I think it's like 9 repeats of the pattern. So I went to 11.
Okay.
Got to go to 11. And then I started my decreases. I just, looking at it, I didn't feel like, and I tried it on, and I felt like my head was still kind of popping out. If you were to do this, and it does say in the pattern, the decrease is over 12 rounds. So that'll add another like 1.5 inches. So I didn't want to go more than that. And I think I'm happy with my choice.
Yeah.
Also has a really fun crown detail as well, how it all kind of comes together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I'm really, really happy with this. So the next one, and like I can wear that's like a beanie, or I can pull it back a little bit so I have a little slouch, which I really like this look better for me. I don't know why I like the slouch.
I don't know.
There's like a little little something something. Then what else can I tell you about this? Yeah, it was great. I think I told you the needle size. I started this. This again took me 2 or 3 days to do.
You finished that yesterday, right?
I finished this yesterday. I started on the 15th. What was yesterday?
The 19th.
All right, so it took me like 4 days to do it. But again, I had other things that I was doing too. Not that it matters. Who cares, right? It was really nice for me to, number one, have smaller projects that are wearable, and then that are cool, and that they're like, it was quick.
Like sometimes with...
And finished. Like I feel like I have a lot of larger things on the needles that have been taking so long to do, that it was nice just to be able to do this.
And there are times in our knitting journeys that we need something simple.
Totally.
Something mindless. We need something complicated and large. It's nice to switch that up. And with a smaller project, what's really great about it is you kind of get that instant gratification, with a hat, 3 to 4 days or 2 days or whatever it takes you to get something completed. So it gives you that motivation maybe to go back to something that you haven't worked on in a while. Be like, okay, well, I just finished this really quick thing. Let's spend some time on one of those larger projects. So it's a nice way to balance your knitting time.
And then I am going to be casting on the one whiskey because I think it would be fun to have. I'm sorry, one scotch.
No, it's. Oh yeah.
Oh, so it's not.
Hold on.
One bourbon, one scotch,
No,
one
it is
beer.
It is one whiskey, isn't it? The song.
No, it's one scotch. I bet you all are correcting me. So anyway, this pattern is called One Scotch. And there are 3 of them there. By Thea Coleman. It's a simple striped with a striped hat with ribbing. So you
Twisted
can
rib though.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, based on looking at the photo, I would say that's probably a twisted rib.
So Kevin has the pattern for this as well, which I will certainly go ahead and do that. I just have to find some yarn. I'm really impressed with the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes non-superwash. It's a good yarn.
It's a good workhorse yarn.
Yeah, and it's very inexpensive.
Yeah, because it's a Peruvian highland wool, so it's not soft like merino. There is a little toothiness, scratching, not scratchiness, but it feels toothy. It's more tactile.
Yeah.
Than a merino.
Yep. So there are 110 yards in each 50-gram ball. So you know what I might do actually, which might be a really good idea. It's just to go through our leftovers.
Yeah, I'm sure we have enough.
Yeah, and then just make a stripy one.
Yeah, it is stripy.
I mean, yeah, it is striped, but like a.
But you could probably
scrappy
do
stripe or something.
The majority of it with that color that you have already, and then add some stripes that are left over.
That's
and
a
then
good
this
idea.
Way you don't have to start.
You don't think these 2 colors go well together, though, right?
Let's see them.
Because it would be neat. It would be neat to use these.
Yeah, you could,
right?
And you could use.
So then this way it'll link all 3 of the hats kind of together.
How many? Depending on how many colors, I have a little bit.
You can do whatever you want, so you don't even have to stripe it if you don't want to.
Because I was going to say I have a little bit of my Hudson and West green from my hat, the cabled hat that I showed last episode, so that might be able to be worked in there.
Hey,
but
that's
I'm sure,
a good idea. Maybe
sure
I'll start with these.
Yeah,
this should be enough for a hat, because I could just do some smaller stripes.
So what you could do is weigh that hat that you just finished, see what the gram is, weigh those 2 together, and see what the grams are, and then if you need any.
Yeah.
Look.
Although that hat does have a lot of purling in it, so typically when I purl, I think when a lot of people do purl, you use a little bit more yarn than you would with stockinette.
I saw a way recently too to kind of fix that, and I forgot. I may have saved the video.
So
right?
those are my 2 finished objects and my plan for my 3rd to complete the collection. Now that I have till March-ish, I love that.
All right, so now we're on to whips, and I have 3.
Me too.
All right, so I'm going to talk about one that's actually getting pulled out, and I just want to show this. Somebody had asked in the comments of the last episode, so I keep this is my now knitting journal. It's a little A5 binder that I bought from Amazon. Have some pages in it, my pen, and then I move when a project's complete. I have a divider in the back, some dividers. So I've been moving my completed projects to here after I speak of them. So, and this is kind of how I set up my page, just so I have some details. Yeah. And it's really, honestly, it's so that I can speak about them here. I try to write as much down as I can. So
although it's also helpful too, because like I've used my old knitting journal to go back and see what I've done, if I've had a similar yarn or something.
So the project that I'm going to be taking out is my core vest that I started. It's a pattern by Jared Flood from Brooklyn Tweed. And I am knitting it out of the Moda yarn. Yeah. So this is from Wool Dreamers. And this yarn is so they consider a DK, but when I went and looked at it on Ravelry, it shows that it's 11 wraps per inch, which 11 wraps per inch in most cases leans actually towards a worsted. So the reason I'm going to take it out, to be honest, is that I'm just not enjoying knitting this.
You did a lot, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I've
But good for you if you're, you
I separated.
You enjoy.
I mean, I haven't ripped it out. I could continue if I chose to, but I'm not enjoying the knit on the size needles that I picked. So yes, I got far. I've separated for the front and the back. I've been knitting this on a US 6, which is a 4mm. I really think for me and my gauge, I probably should be knitting this on like a US 8 to make it more comfortable to knit with.
Because it does create a tighter fabric.
But what's interesting, and I don't...
Or a stiffer fabric.
Yeah, but...
The yarn is gorgeous. It just,
This is my swatch. And I don't remember if my swatch is on that size needle. No, this, I mean... It feels okay. But it is it a little dense, you think?
Yeah, it's dense. I think it creates a denser fabric. So I think you're right about, you've got to just be a little bit careful with the gauge. It's hard because the Moda says, about 252 yards per 100 gram skein, which is typically the yardage. That is typical of like a DK weight, sport weight, or DK weight yarn.
But it does recommend knitting on a US 7 to 9. And I'm knitting it on a 4 and a 6.
Yeah, so it's going to create a denser fabric.
So it's just coming out.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that with you all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unravel. I'm going to put it into like a pseudo skein. I'll steam it to get all the kinks out. And then I'll be on the hunt for a worsted weight vest.
Yeah.
Because I only have 4 skeins of it. A worsted weight vest, and try that instead.
Yeah. I still have my entire sweaters quantity of that I still need to find something. And I think you're right. Like, I think I need to go with a worsted weight pattern and then work on my gauge from there. I did try to gauge swatch with mine as well for a DK sweater, and I could not get gauge. I was having a lot of trouble. So maybe I'll be a little bit, like, we'll both be a little bit luckier when looking at worsted weight.
Yeah, and I was going through projects on Ravelry for this particular pattern. I just wanted to get an idea.
Yeah.
And somebody did knit it out of Moda, and they had the same thing that in theirs. It's more of a worsted than a DK. They knew that going into it. They had to adjust their needle size. I just haven't enjoyed the experience of knitting the yarn on the size needles that I was using.
It would make more sense to adjust your needle size, your needle size to a larger needle, and perhaps decrease the size that you're knitting in the vest, just so that you get that looser fabric that you're looking for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Agreed. So that is my first whip. So, I mean, I didn't make... After the last episode, I probably knit about an
I thought you were
inch.
going to say you didn't make much progress on this one. I was going to say you need to check yourself.
No, I'm saying after the last episode.
Oh.
Like, I knit another inch and I separated, and I forget what the reason was. I was like, you know what? I'm not enjoying this. Let me start something else, a different sweater. So I did. And that one was so enjoyable to knit that I was like, this has got to come out and become something else. It's not meant to be that. I will knit the core vest for sure. I need to find some non-superwash DK to knit it with, which I kind of have an idea of where to get some from. So we'll see. That will for sure be a future cast on again.
Lovely.
Okay, you're up.
Great. Okay, I've been on a little bit of a hat kick. Let's just jump right into this. This is where I'm going to need some help. So, I showed this last time. This is the Oisin hat by Megan Babin of Hudson and West. I got very, very far with this. Like, let me pull up the pattern so that you can reference what I'm attempting to talk about.
And while
It's
he's doing
a
that,
beautiful pattern. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're new here and you hear some chirping, we do have a bird.
Oh, yeah, Skylar.
Skylar, who's making some noise downstairs in his cage.
Skylar is... Did we show the video of him talking? Maybe I'll show that video in a sec.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the O'Sheen hat by Hudson and West, Megan Babin. You can see that I wrote down the pronunciation of it, which she does tell you in the pattern. Beautiful cabled pattern, 2 different types of... There's actually quite a few different types of cables in here. I ran into some yarn chicken, or I played some yarn chicken, ran into a big problem. I ended up... This is what I have so far. Gorgeous. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the yarn. I love the feeling of this. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful once it's fully finished. But I have this much yarn left, and I need to do like 18 more rows. And I just...
You don't have enough.
Don't have enough. And this is what I have left. So this is also after taking out 1 repeat. One of the repeats is only about 6 rows though. So I might be able to take out another repeat or 2.
I would take out at least... So here's
where my ask is, right? Because I definitely do not want to frog this. I want this hat. So I can either decrease or take out more of the more of the repeats.
Yeah.
But I like where it's sitting now. So I and this is with 1 repeat already gone. So like you can see here, all I have to do is just... And the 12 more rows, there's cables in there too. So now that I know that my gauge with cables is a little bit off, I definitely won't have enough. I think this would be a perfect size. So I really don't want to take out another repeat if I don't have to. I went to Hudson and West's, I'm sorry, this is their forge color. This is their forge in the smoke colorway. The dye lot was Rhinebeck 2022. We got this in 2023 at Vogue Knitting last year. I went onto their website. They don't have any more smoke. And then the way that, their dye lots, they're very specific. So like there could be a lot of variation between dye lots. So I went on to Ravelry to see if anybody might have this yarn. I did find somebody that has a sweaters quantity, so I might reach out. But all I need is maybe like 15 to 20 grams of yarn. So I'm wondering if anybody out there has knit with this colorway in this dye lot, and if they have any leftover yarn, I'm happy to purchase it from you, make a trade or whatever. I really only need like 20 grams left. I don't want to take this out. And I guess I could put a different color in, but
I would not with that one.
I know. I think it's so good. So I want to see, before I make any changes, which I know another change could be to take the entire thing out and go down a needle size. I like the pattern so much. I like the hat so much that is definitely a possibility.
Not even the whole thing, just
to my ribbing.
Just to the ribbing and do the body.
Yeah,
and
because that's 5 inches of ribbing. You're right. And then just
I would not take that out.
Size. I did a tubular cast on here. So that was using a US 5. The ribbing is done in a US 6, and then the body is done in a US 7. But I love the tubular.
Yeah,
cast on.
It's such a.
And
it really
is 5 inches of ribbing, which is a lot. So I could take it all the way down here, which it's not the end of the world, but I feel like it's worth asking for help.
And it would be really interesting to see though how much that actually impacted your gauge. You know, if you were, let's say that is the route that you decide to go, it'd be really interesting to weigh this.
I have 1.2 grams left.
1.2 grams. Take it all the way out, knit it to the same exact point, and see how many grams you have.
Oh, that's a good test.
At that point, just to see. I don't know how much a difference, because we don't know how much of a difference it would actually make. It would be interesting to see if you ended up with 10 grams of yarn. I don't think so, but it would be a nice little test to
Yeah,
do.
it would. And this hat only comes in one size. So I mean, but there's such large panels that to decrease the size even, that's a lot to take out, you know.
No.
I love it. I love the yarn. It's super squishy. I love the pattern. I think it's gonna look so great once it's like blocked and stuff.
Cable hats are fun.
They're so much fun. I was a little bit disappointed, but it, you know, again, it's me and it's a learning experience. It's a good experience for me to now know that, you know, my gauge has changed a little bit. You know, just to be more aware with cables. I think it also, you know, I'm more comfortable knitting cables, so they do come out a little bit looser. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not like pulling so tightly,
right.
Like, you know, when you're learning something new or you don't know, that's what I tend to get a little bit tighter. So that's one. I'm not frogging this. I do want this hat and I do want it out of this yarn. So if anybody out there does have a little bit that they want to sell me or whatever, please, sir.
Can I have some more?
Have some more. But that's that. I love it. And this was, again, one of the patterns and yarn that I put aside specifically, you know, to use together. And I have quite a few bags of similar pack-ups that I just want to grab. Once this is done, I want to grab another bag and knit from something that I've already planned to. So I'd like to make a decision, you know, soon. But again, if you have that, send me an email. It's hard sometimes in the comments or, you know, on Instagram, but send us an email on needleswiththereadypodcast@gmail.com. If you, you can help.
And great thing, glad you said that. If you don't know, down below, we leave show notes in the description or the more or whatever they've changed it to, because it can be different every week.
To get there.
But all of the names of the patterns, the yarns that we've talked about, they're all linked down below. So if you have any questions or you missed something we said, it will be right down below for you.
Yep. I think you have to click more, and then you've got to click more again.
Maybe.
And then it opens up the show notes.
All right. So my next whip is what's really fun about my next two whips actually are I focused on each one for a week. So the next one I showed is strictly what I knit on the week after podcasting last. This is living in my Magner bag. It is my Geo Gradient Shawl by Stephen West, which was the 2023.
And that you got at Brooklyn General, right? That bag?
Yes, I got this when we were at Brooklyn General. I don't even know if this is attached, is it? It is. All right, so this is my version. It is all knit out of yarn that I dyed, Ghost, Wedding Mints, New Growth.
So pretty.
And Shady Pines.
Don't drop that in your tea.
And I finished section 1, and I am almost done with section, or clue 2 rather. All right, we're going to undo this so that you can kind of see.
Just be careful because it looks pretty short.
Yeah, it is. It's already fallen off. I've dropped some stitches previously. All right.
But not recently.
No. So here is...
I love
so this is section clue 1, and I am currently working on clue 2 on the second side of it, and this is my completed first side of clue 2.
Honestly, the colors are so spectacular, Kev. I love it. Yeah, you did a great
job.
job.
Super happy with this. I just started falling in love with the different projects, so I put this out.
I know you did.
I said I thought I was going to finish this by Vogue, but the next one might be the one that's finished by Vogue. We'll see.
I will have nothing finished by Vogue.
But yeah, I like this. This is, first, let me tell you all, guys, if you don't like weaving in ends, do not pick this pattern.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus, there are so many in here. They're like this section, right? So for every stripe, you have 2 ends. So there are 12. So that's 24 ends on each section of this. So that means this clue had 48 freaking ends. What else? It's going to be beautiful once it's done. I am knitting it on the recommended needle size, which is a US 4, 3.5 millimeter. The middle section is a modification from, I'm going to find it really quick. It's like Knitting Mama something. I have to go to... I first saw it on Professor Pearl's. Professor Pearl. He did it with his... I saw it. I loved it. So I went to... Oh, it's by the Technicolor Mom on Instagram. She did that variation. So she created
So
that
pretty.
middle section. And I just think saw it and it was gorgeous. So I went with that. And it's a nice knit. I'm excited that I got moving along with it. There was a lot of struggles for me with not getting things like stitch counts off and all this stuff. And it's not the pattern. It really was just me and kind of, I think, my frame of mind. So that's why I put this down for just a little bit to move on to my last whip. But
Lovely.
it will be done
It's
soon
really pretty.
enough.
Yeah, those colors are really stunning together.
Thank you.
You did great.
Okay, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna continue on this hat parade that I have going on here. This one is living in a Matterroot bag. Thank you. This is just my, hey, I'm looking to just knit around and around and around and around. There's no pattern here. I just kind of took some inspiration from the sockhead slouch hat and the Lyle cap and kind of smushed them together. This is using Kevin's yarn, needles at the ready. It is fancy flannel in 75-25, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is what I have so far. I think it's knitting up really well.
I know, I like that color.
It's a great color. It's super like springy almost. Like it makes me feel like happy. You know, it's like soft.
I dyed some yesterday. I have
bright.
to wash it today and dry it.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm knitting these on, I think it's a 3. This is on...
Is it in your notebook?
Haha. This is my knitting notebook that I love, but I think I like the idea of the rocket notebook as well. Okay, so... Wow, I was doing a good job keeping track of my patterns here, huh? Baby vertebrae... Oh, this is the Peace and Joy socks, which I'll talk about in a sec. Modified sock head. Using a US 3.25 millimeter needle. I cast on, and again, I'm making this up, so I cast on 136 stitches using the German twisted cast on. I did 2x2 ribbing for about 1.5 inches, and now I'm just knitting in the round until probably I get to about 6.5, 7 inches or so. It's, you know, it's just going to be like one of those chill hats. It's going to be super comfortable. I'm only knitting this when I don't feel like paying attention to anything, watching TV or whatever. So it's going to be one of those long-term projects just to like grab and like knit, kind of taking the place of like the socks that I usually have on the needles, though I am going to cast on a pair of socks soon.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's that. You know, I'll let you know, once I finish and figure out how I want to do some decreases. But I did a couple of rows on this, 5-10 rows or something like that.
Again, it's so nice to have like a simple
totally
in the round.
That's it.
Just like no thought.
Nope. And like when I'm knitting in the round, like, you know, I don't have to look at my stitches. It's just something to do with my hands to keep me busy. It's a little chilly actually now.
All right.
So that's that. I have one more left to go.
I have one more as well.
Okay.
This, you guys, I'm obsessed.
Yeah, you are.
With
you
this.
made a lot of progress on this.
A ton.
Mm-hmm.
So, I cast this on Saturday last week. The second time I cast on, I did cast on Friday. I had to take it out because I made a silly mistake. This is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Mae Designs. Currently living in my Paradise Island bag that I got at Vogue Knitting Live last year.
Yeah. I was jealous. They didn't have any left.
No,
I got one too. That's a lie. That's one of my favorite bags.
All right, so
this is why I buy so many things. I forget.
Let's pull the pattern up in Good Notes. Actually, it's not in Good Notes. It's in Apple Notes. because I'm trying that out.
Skylar's doing a little bit of a...
Yeah. All right, so knitting, sweaters, cozy classic raglan. Right, so this is the pattern. And I am using Sonder Yarn Co. Sunday Morning DK. That is the 75% BFL, 25% Masham that we purchased at Knit City, Montreal. And the colorway Personal Space.
I love it.
So this is like a blue-gray. It's such a... I think it's such a beautiful color.
It really is.
And I did a gauge swatch. I had to go up a needle size. The recommended needles, I think, are a US 2, a 3, and a 7. I did not get gauge with that. The gauge is supposed to be 18 stitches per 4 inches, and I was at like 20. So I mistakenly went down needle sizes the first time and then realized that my gauge was way off, ripped it out, and I went up needle sizes. So I am using a US 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter. That was for the tubular cast on for the collar, strictly just for your setup rows. Then I used a US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter for the rest of my ribbing. And now I'm using a US 8, which is a 5 millimeter for the body. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I have so far.
You did so much. You really did.
So much.
Yeah.
It's a beautifully written pattern. There's a ton of details in here. The collar for this fits me incredibly well.
It looks great on you.
I did forget to do a raglan increase on one side.
You can't even see.
So what I did is I forgot to do one on the other side to make the stitch count match.
Yes.
And then I just continued doing raglan increases until I got to the correct number of stitches. So it, in essence, it added 2 extra rows, really. Right? Or 4? No, 2 extra rows. I am knitting the size 4, which is a large, and that should give me somewhere between I think around a 46-inch chest. This pattern is meant to have 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. In the experience of knitting with this compared to the vest, it's a completely different experience for me, where the yarn...
Because you're using appropriate needle sizes and stuff for you too, you know?
Right. The yarn is sliding off the needles. It's sliding off the cords. Like, it's easy to move. And on that core vest, that's where I was struggling. I was struggling with even the movement of the yarn along the cord.
Right.
So that's where it got super frustrating. But this pattern's really nice if you are a new sweater knitter, I think, because there's so much detail. It does call for fingering and mohair held together. I'm using just DK weight, which I think is perfect.
That could also explain why your gauge was a little bit off too. Maybe.
Right. The mohair and fingering, I don't know because I haven't knit with them. Maybe there's it's a little bit thicker than a DK. What else? There is some information about waist shaping in here. So if you want to bring in the sweater to give you a nicer silhouette, it talks about how to decrease. It also gives you options that if you are not doing this cropped, because it is supposed to be slightly cropped.
Okay.
If you're adding length to it, how to then readjust that stitch count for the decreases.
Which is great that it gives you options. So you don't have to make those changes on your own.
Correct. And I do think too, we kind of talked about it. I didn't think about this on Thursday night when we kind of spoke about it. But let's say your midsection is wider than your chest. Instead of doing decreases, maybe you could do increases at those same points to give yourself a little more room around your midsection if you need it. Yeah. So maybe that's a good option. But needless to say, beautiful pattern. I'm enjoying the knit. I don't know. This could possibly be done for Vogue because
With a week.
I think I could finish the body this weekend.
Okay. You probably could. You knit that super fast. I feel like 2 days ago you were like, yep, I just separated for sleeves. My goal is to get 5 inches
That
done,
evening.
and you got like 12 in 2 days.
Yeah,
What
I
does
have
that
to.
smell? Is this that smells? Did you have, maybe you have lotion on or something?
I do. I have the Earl Grey lotion.
It smells nice.
So, what else do I want to say about this? I think that's it. What I like about this raglan too, I thought about, like, I love the detail on it. I love how pronounced it is.
Me too.
I do love a raglan that looks thicker.
Okay.
So
you're using more than one stitch, like before or after it.
right. So this is done, you know, you have your stitch marker, and then on one side of the stitch marker, you're doing one increase.
Yep.
On the other, you're doing the other. But you could have your stitch marker and do your
Like knit 2.
increase like one stitch beforehand.
Yes, or 2 or whatever.
You know, like that type of thing. If you wanted a little bit of a more pronounced raglan.
But this looks nice because it's like just simple, you know? It's classic.
Yeah, and this is a lifted increase where you pick up from like either 1 or 2 stitches below, depending on this
which might help pop out that
side that you're on.
Yeah.
And once you get in the rhythm of it, it's easy to remember what to do. I watched a couple videos really quick, and once you do it a couple of times, you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and you don't really have to look at it. But yeah, I'm super pleased with it. I think it's a beautiful, I really love the color of this. And
Me too.
I'm glad that
What's it called? Mind Your Business?
Personal space?
Personal space.
What else to say about this? Love the color. I've knit with very similar bases, and I love this base. It will bloom beautifully once it's soaked.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not debating. I think I might be able to do this with 4 skeins. I am on skein number 3 now, and I'm almost done. I want to say I'm almost done with the body. I have to be.
Here.
I know he's going nuts.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm about 12 to 13 inches into the body.
Okay.
And I probably will start my ribbing once I hit 15 inches, and the ribbing's 3 inches. So I'll try it on today just to kind of see, but I believe that's my usual kind of recipe.
Kevin, I think it's so nice. I'm glad that you found, like, it's bringing you a lot of joy.
Yeah, it was just something super basic that I needed.
Yeah.
I needed a simple knit, and what was nice is obviously knitting it on a larger needle, the US 8. It's flying off the needles.
Like, yeah, I can't believe how fast it's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are nice. Okay. You know what I like about the muscle burr?
What?
Is that you don't have to have that folded brim. You could just have it like.
I love it with the folded brim though.
Yeah, I kind of like it this way.
I like the folded brim. I might.
All right. Are you good?
Yeah, that was my last project.
So my last one is the Advent socks from Woolens and Nosh. The pattern support. The pattern that came with it is the Peace and Joy socks by Kristen Drucker. It's a obviously it's a pattern sock. Looking at it I think it's gorgeous. And I think I mentioned last time, I do prefer to just knit my socks in the round. But looking at this, obviously I think it's really pretty. I'm almost done with these socks. This is another one that I was kind of focusing on the hats and then my dad's sweater and like little things that I hadn't gotten to this one in a while, but I pulled it back out last night and was able to get some things done, which is great. So this is the Woolens and Nosh Advent 2023. Comes in this cute little bag, separated into 2 50-gram cakes for you. You don't know what you're going to be pulling out. And I completed one sock sans the heel. So this is the pattern of it.
It's pretty.
This is the front of the sock. Yeah, isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
And then this is the back. So you have your cuff or your leg here. I'm going to do a cut and heel right here, which I think is actually going to be kind of perfect because it just, this is the one pattern repeat here. And then it starts all over again. So I did all of my measurements. And then because it's self-striping, it makes it easier because I do it by stripes as opposed to by length. So this is I knit this on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needles on 9-inch circular needles. And I used Woolens and Nash Advent 2023. It's her Targhee fingering, 90% superwash Targhee and 10% nylon. There's a lot of yardage, I always feel like, in her yarns, but her yarn is also a little bit on the thicker side too, so it gives it a nice, solid feel to it. It's 411 yards per 100 grams. It did come with a coordinating mini, which I actually don't know where it is, but I need to find that soon because that's what I'm going to be putting my heels in. I did 15 rows of a 2x2 rib. I always use a German twisted cast on. Here I did that out of the mini. This is the coordinating mini here. I did 20 rows.
Stripes?
20 stripes. Yes, thank you. 20 stripes before I marked for my heel. And then from the heel marker to where I start my decreases is 18 stripes. And then for my toe, this is my standard toe. I do every other round of decreases. I knit one, SSK, knit to 3 stitches before, knit 2 together, and then knit 1. I like because it creates a little bit of a easier definition there. And then I do that until I get down to 20 stitches.
20? I thought it was 24, 12 on each needle.
No, I do 20. Yeah, 20 stitches on each needle. And then I do one more decrease round, and then I decrease, then I decrease every round until I get to 14 on this one.
Okay.
And then I grafted the heel. When I do graft my heels, my toe, thank you. When I do graft my toes, same thing for the heels as well. I don't do a setup round.
Yeah, me either.
I just go right into it. And then I usually, once you're doing your Kitchener, once I put the yarn through the last couple of stitches, as long as all of the stitches have yarn through them, I just slip, I think there's 2 stitches left, I just slip both those stitches off the needle and then tuck it in. It kind of helps prevent some of the dog ears that you would get on your toe or your heel. So that's one. I'll cut in the heel here, and then here's the second one. Same exact thing. I do switch. When I'm doing my decreases, I do switch to magic loop. A message from the driver delivering your Amazon packages. I don't think that's true.
That's false.
You think so, right?
Yeah.
What else can I say? I think that's really it. So I will be able to finish the decreases for sure today and start cutting in the heels. I'd like to have these done. Maybe this will be my
FO for Vogue.
FO for Vogue. But aren't these so pretty?
Yeah, it's a really great
so
colorway.
Pretty. And it's always fun, when you get to the end, even though you can see what the patterning is going to look like and the striping, order is going to look like. Once it's done, there's some magic that happens. It's just it looks so fun.
Yeah.
And I am happy that I ended up doing the pattern. It is a super easy pattern to do, but it slows me down just a little bit. That's it.
So
that's it.
That is,
although I should probably
knitting content, right? Yes. So we don't have any owl post, right?
No owl post.
Right.
Just what we showed earlier today.
Yeah. And then
our hats and stuff.
Little break in the bank because I did go to a yarn store.
Hey, this is going to be a short episode.
And this yarn was purchased, honestly, it's a little bit of a story. So because the Knitting Posse, they're hosting the Thea Coleman knit along, after I bought the patterns, I saw that the majority of the patterns I purchased were worsted weight. I don't have any, don't do that.
No, I won't. I just got nervous because I ordered the Amazon order was
Yeah.
like 100 pounds, so I don't know if that's too much for them to deliver. It shouldn't be.
So it actually is kind of what prompted me to start thinking about entering my stash, because I don't know what worsted weight yarn I have. Plain and simple, right? So
Maybe that's true, because I just heard them downstairs.
oh, when I went to Westport Yarns, all of this yarn that I purchased was 40% off. And you can't walk away from these brands, in my opinion, when they're on sale.
I agree.
So,
so good.
First up is some purchases from Hudson and West in their Forge base. So I purchased Ash.
I'm just going to go check, because it sounds like there's banging or something. I'm sorry.
Oops, sorry. So I purchased Forge in the colorway Ash. Nice neutral light gray. Forge in the colorway Raven, which is a beautiful black. Like, this is a black. And then Forge in the colorway Midnight. And this is a beautiful navy. So it's leaning black on screen, but you can see, yeah, you can totally see the difference here. So you got black and you got your navy on top. And then I bought the mustard skein that Ray used in his whiskey barrel bourbon. One bourbon. So they also had some Brooklyn tweed on sale. So I picked up 2 skeins of Shelter in the colorway Storm Cloud, because these are 50 grams. So this will give me 100 grams so I could do a hat. And then I picked up 2 skeins of Brooklyn tweed tones. And this is the undertone in the colorway Persimmon. So really beautiful, like burnt orange. And those are my purchases, and they've been added
to your stash.
to my stash.
That was the delivery.
Oh, wow. How heavy was that?
They're 50 pounds each, bucks.
Oh, it's 2 boxes?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
So
was probably asking to see if I can help him.
that was all the Break in the Bank section. So last up is what we've been reading and watching.
Yeah, let's take a second. I will show you
Skylar.
I don't think I shared this.
I don't remember if you did last time, because we did talk that in the previous episode. We did mention that he was saying what you're doing.
Yeah. So Skylar, for those of you who don't know, Skylar like basically lives outside of his cage. When we get up in the morning, we open the cage. He comes right out, flies to us, says hello, good morning, whatever. I mean, he doesn't actually say that, but
Well, his cage, let's say this, his cage is open the majority
Yes.
of the day when we're home, if we're in the living room with him, if we're like spending the time downstairs. So he has the option of coming out of the cage. He still spends a good amount
he
of time.
does go back in the cage to eat and like rest and
in his
stuff.
cage, and he has a perch on top of the cage, like a little setup that he spends a lot of time in as well.
Yeah, and he's fully flighted, so he'll fly, he flies around and stuff. So, hold on. Let's see. Now, neither one of us are speaking. Kevin or I.
But there's television in the background.
There might be some, there is some television in the background, but you can, I'll turn this up, but I'll keep it, hopefully you can hear it.
We really need to worry about are microbursts. Some downbursts are very associated with thunderstorms, but a small craft like this, if we get one of those at the wrong altitude, it can pulverize. I beg of you to leave.
Do you hear it?
A tornado outside we should talk to, and
He's very cute. So he says, "What you doing?" That's his favorite phrase. We think he's starting to. That was on January 3rd, so I did take that video a while ago. But he's just, he's been a lot of fun, and he's been saying.
You think? Hi.
I think he's saying hi, and hello. He might be saying good boy.
It takes him. You can hear, it's interesting because you can tell when he's working on his speaking.
Yeah, he's working on it.
It's a different sound than his normal noises, I guess.
This is Kevin, he like hangs out with us while we're knitting and stuff. He's obsessed with knitting and cell phones.
Yes, cell phones, iPads,
Yeah.
laptops, knitting, stitch markers like this one.
He joined us for our Zoom knit night.
This stitch
The other
marker
night. He's cute.
So I have this one that Ray got us when we were at Skane a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this little guy,
The sloth.
the sloth, he's obsessed with this sloth. I have my thread and maple cell phone tray and my iPad tray, both downstairs. I have a little stand that I've been putting the laptop one or the iPad one on. And if I have any stitch markers on, he goes over to them, he starts picking them up and dropping them. And he did the same thing with like a Katrinkles ruler that I have, the one that's on those, what are those called?
Chains?
Yeah, those little chains that you can adjust. That's like your pull for your fans. Yeah, just picking it up. He's very into stuff like that.
But he when we're not, like right now, the cage is closed. So that's where he was like singing and chirping and stuff. All right, I have 2 acquisitions.
I was like, you do?
I do.
What did you buy?
So this is, are you finished? Do you have any?
I'm done with my purchases.
This is part of our the club that I am part of for Going Gnome. It is, I cannot, when I opened this, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what?
I know.
So I want to do this soon, which will go in. When did we start the Nettle?
Today, we talked about
today?
That. Yeah.
Okay.
Today until the end of March.
I heard the end of March.
And it's no whips.
Oh, your hands are nice and warm. How cold am I? So this, look at this. This is like their mysterious sea club. This is a humpback whale. It is a huge package. It's going to be massive. It says it's like 12 inches long.
Wow.
I know. So I'm super excited about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun to do. Yeah. Because it's large, you know, these kits they're really so much fun. And I really wish that I could.
What's this?
What?
The wood block.
I don't know.
Do you think maybe it's to like... No?
Maybe to stabilize them?
I would say maybe you felt around it to give it weight on one side.
Maybe.
That'll be interesting to find out.
But their instructions are always very, very easy to follow. And I love that, you know, with these kits, you add your own personality to them. So they're like, if you want to make them happier, do this. If you want to make them rounder, do this. So super cute. So I'm excited about this one. So this is a giant humpback whale by Going Gnome. It's I think that kit even looks bigger than my dragon. I want to start that soon too. Okay, and then my second one was, we showed these, and I don't really know the name of them. This is the Maker's Binder from Delaque. We showed a sage green one that was sent to us by Delaque, or by Jimmy Bean. And then I wanted one as well, and this is the indigo colorway. So I moved all of my needles. So I wanted to try it. We weren't sure. It is pretty bulky. Like, it is definitely larger. So we weren't sure. Like, I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. But I just said to Kevin last night, I actually think it's much more organized than the previous way that I was storing my needles. So what I ended up doing was, and in here, it comes with all of these little tools. So you've got some darning needles, you got a tape measure and scissors. I put all of my needles here in size order. These are all my 4-inch tips, and then these are my 5-inch tips, or these might be my 5-inch tips. Nope, those are my 4-inch tips. So these are my 5-inch tips here. I was able to fit everything in here. And I'm good with not having a separate pocket for each needle, as long as they're in order. Like, I can see what I'm pulling out. That's not a problem for me anyway. So I think that's nice and organized. Here I have, like, I think this is where you're supposed to be putting your needles, but I have my like crochet hooks, like fix-it tools and cable needles and all of that stuff. In the pouches, I have just like the little connectors for my my set. My gosh, I'm having trouble. Chagu. Thank you. Guys, look at it. So then I put my fixed circulars. Sorry, I'm blocking your head, Kevin. My fixed circulars in this one. I'm using the magic loop one. So I have my magic loop there. These are all my 9-inch circular needles.
I don't think that's all of them. No.
I don't know where the rest of them would be. So my plan is to put my fixed circulars in here, the ones that I use most often. This is for a sock head. This is the needle that I use for sock head slouch. And then in this one, I put all of the cords like just in here. I wish that there was a little bit, like I would like to maybe have another one of these pages, maybe to put the cords there. But this is working out for me very, very well. And I like that you can open up each individual, like each page can come out. So if you only want to take like one thing with you, like if I only wanted to take my needles with me and not the whole binder, I could just take this page right out. And then it does also come with a pad and a pen, but I took that out just to kind of decrease the bulk. And I probably won't be using that. So I might put like, I can put patterns in here or something like that. So for now, I'm pretty impressed with the storage, and I think it makes me feel much more organized. But you can see like it is kind of bulky here. But
so talking about
Super
your
fun.
needle storage, something I thought about recently is I had said to Ray, I thought about this and then I saw that it's already out there. I do know that it's currently on back order and it's not going to be shipping until sometime in February.
oh yeah, you
So,
told me about these.
I thought, you know how you can buy this a bunch of different things, even for all of your like cell phone, iPad,
Yeah.
whatever cords,
Yeah.
something to keep them all together, a little button, like it's faux leather and it
Like a
can clip
snap
together,
kind of
a
thing.
snap thing.
Yeah.
So this is called Snap ID. They're cord organizer tags from Twice Sheer Cheap.
I think it's clever.
Yeah. So, I mean, based on this, right? So this shows 16, 32, 40, and 24.
Okay, why don't you zoom in and then show it again? Because
Because-
they're all individual. Oh, you can't.
I can't.
They're
So,
all individually labeled with like the size of the cords.
right. So I think in order to use it, you would say your 8-inch cords, which would make a 16-inch, are the ones that you would use for 16-inch,
Oh, okay.
you know? And then your 14-inch cords, 14, there's not a 22.
Well,
but,
you can for your smaller ones, like if you have the 3-inch tips.
But I thought that's a good
Look at
idea.
that beautiful blue jay.
So that is another good option for
Yeah.
keeping your needle or your cords rather together.
I'm sure we'll try them when they come out. So
Maybe. We shall see.
most likely.
All right.
So we'll talk more about that afterwards.
Last up is what we've been reading and watching.
Yeah.
Criminal Minds.
Dun, 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 dun. It's great.
We're on season 10. So it's
I'm
been-
actually looking forward to like sitting on the couch later on and just kind of watching them. We have a lot to do there.
Yeah, so Criminal Minds and basketball, pretty much. And that's what we'll do today because there's 2 basketball games and we'll watch that and Criminal Minds. So there's our Saturday.
There's Kevin Saturday.
What else?
I used to like basketball too. I'm not, you know what it is? It's the players for me with UConn. Like I love UConn basketball. I'll still watch it, but I'm not fully invested in like, you know, the players these days. Like I remember the days of like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, and then remember the Fab Five? Who was that?
Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Asia Jones.
Asia Jones, yeah.
Well, technically the 5 were Sue
No,
Bird,
it was Swin Cash.
Sue Bird, Asia Jones, Swin Cash, Tamika Williams,
Yeah.
and Kirsten Walters,
Oh, I don't
who
know.
got injured her freshman season and really didn't play again. But then you added Diana Taurasi,
Yeah.
and that was kind of
Mhm.
the Fab 5 there. But yeah, so UConn women at 2, UConn men at 8 tonight.
Okay, great.
And
If
that's what
anybody's
I'll be
interested.
watching.
I just pulled up my phone for some reason.
So,
Oh, for what I'm reading.
and then reading wise, I have finished 2 books, and I'm currently reading a third. Book number 1 that I finished was Vicious, I want to say, by V.E. Schwab.
Oh, did you hear my tum-tum?
I did. So it was, yes, Vicious by V.E. Schwab. We follow, crap, what are their names? Victor, which every time I hear Logan yelling Victor in X-Men.
So every time I hear Victor, I think of Chekhov in Star Wars 4 Undiscovered Country when he's like, Victor. Oh, no. The new movie. He's like, Victor. And like,
Yeah.
the computer can't understand what he's saying.
And All right, so Victor and what's that? Levi? I don't. Eli. So they are college students. They're writing their thesis, and they do an experiment to see if they can become extraordinary. And so these are people who are gifted, and it's common in this universe, but they're both bad. Hands down, they're just crappy people. So it is 10 years after their experiment, and there's some good moments in it. I wasn't super invested with either one. By the time I got to that, I was like, okay, cool. This was an all right read. There is a second book, and I don't intend to read it at this moment in time unless somebody can sway me and say the second book was so much better than the first. So then I decided I needed like a cutesy, cozy read. And I found this series. There are 10 books in it. It is a series by...
It's a lot of commitment, but they're shorter, right? You said.
Right. It takes a couple nights to read. Yeah. It's not a long read. So the author is... book details. I want to say Emma Chase. It's something Chase. Annabel Chase. So I am reading the Spellbound Paranormal Cozy Mystery Collection. Book 1 was called Curse the Day. I finished that. The main character is Emma Hart. She's a 25-year-old lawyer living in Pennsylvania. She's driving to a client's house, and the GPS stops working. So she takes what she thinks is the correct right, and she sees a man who's about to jump off a ledge into a lake. She wants to save him, but he has to save her, which I won't spoil. But either way, she is in this town spellbound now, which is cursed. It is a town made of supernaturals, and there are towns all over the world like this, but this is the only one that's cursed. If you are in the town, you cannot leave it. So Emma gets, unbeknownst to her, is in the town, the barrier of it. And she's like, okay, well, great meeting you. Bye, I'm leaving. And she goes and she walks face first into the barrier, and she can't leave. She discovers that she's a witch. And it's just like a little cozy mystery. There's nothing, heart-wrenching or thought-provoking in it. It's really cute because there's some, references to the modern world, and they don't have any internet or cell phones or things like that there. So, yeah, I'm enjoying both. The second book's called Doom and Broom.
Doom and Broom, that's cute.
Yeah. Because she's trying to, in this book, she's learning how to fly. She's at witchcraft school, and she's in the remedial class with all the other kids who didn't pass their years. So she's with them, and they're learning to ride a broom, and she's not fond of that.
That's cute.
Yeah, so there's all, there's witches and vampires and angels and berserkers and fairies and elves and werewolves, werebears. Werebears.
That's cute. Everything just seems really cute right now.
Yes. And that's what I've been reading.
Excellent. I finished a few books since we last spoke. I was listening to Ready Player One last time we chatted. I did finish that on Audible. That is narrated by Will Wheaton. I think I mentioned last time that I just absolutely loved how he read the book. The story is absolutely fantastic. We talked about it actually on our knit night this past Thursday. Just how good the story is, and how much different it is from the actual movie.
Hands down.
Hands
Totally
down,
different.
like probably one of the best books that I've read, in a very long time, if not, ever, or had read to me. I think for me personally, Will Wheaton, I might have mentioned this before, was perfect for that because he's the epitome. Like, he reminds me of like 80s, early 90s. That's when I really got into Star Trek and The Next Generation, and then knowing that he also likes all of those geeky things. So anyway, it was a great experience overall. I did rate this 5 stars. I would have gone higher if I wanted, if I could have. I know that there are some mixed reviews for Ready Player 2, so I did not move into that book yet. But after talking to a few people who did read it, I probably will end up listening to that at some point. I also finished a book called Nettle and Bone. It's by...
Somebody just recommended that to me.
Oh. It's by Kingfisher. This is, and I talked about this in the last podcast, too. It was very... So I did give this 3 stars. I thought it was entertaining, and very interesting. I thought it moved very slow in some parts and very fast in others. Like, I feel like it skipped over a few things that I wanted to know more about. Like, I wanted to know more about that world that they live in and, like, that magic system and how godmothers... So there's, like, this group of the magic in there is, like, they're godmothers to bless babies or curse babies, and the more talented godmothers who can give better and more powerful blessings over these babies, such as, like, you know, won't be murdered, or, you know, good health and things like that. The more powerful blessings, usually those godmothers will go to like royalty, and then the other babies sometimes get, like, you know, smaller blessings or whatever. But I wanted to kind of know, like, more about that type of magic and how to be a godmother, because then they brought in curses and things, and, like, how you can use that magic on other animals to kind of, for example, help you find a safe place to go, or, you know, do different things. Then there's dust women. I think I said it last time wrong as well. I think they're called dust women. Those are ones that can talk to the dead. There's a whole underworld kind of situation too, with, like, you know, goblins and fairies and saints and different things like that. So the story was a little bit convoluted, I thought, for me. Entertaining for sure, but I would have liked to have learned a little bit more about the book.
Are there more books in the series?
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if I don't know if it got me enough to want to, you know, read a little bit more. But that's just my personal feelings. I did read that one on my Kindle, and I then was listening to and finished Armada, also by Ernest Cline, the same author that did Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2. Armada is a standalone book. It's not related to either of the two. There are still, as you know, the author's MO, I guess, there are still references to 80s and 90s culture, especially video games. The premise behind this one I thought was really cool, because Kevin and I are both, we were both gamers. For me, it's been a while since I've played some video games, but we used to be very into MMOs, and, like, those are the multiplayer online video games where you have, like, guilds, and we spent hours and hours and hours and hours, tons of hours on these games. So the premise is that there's some MMOs, online multiplayer games. One is land-based, one is space-based, so you either control, like, a land mech that kind of, you know, goes around and tries to save the world from aliens, or you can choose to fight space battles and fly these drones to also protect Earth from the same aliens. So it's 2 different games that are kind of, like, linked together in the story. Come to find out, the video games are actually secret training simulators for Earth's, you know, geeks, I guess, or gamers, to train them to actually fly these real drones and mechs on the ground against a real alien threat that only appears in the video games. So it kind of flips things around. You learn that that's all real. It's a big, huge, like, government cover-up type of situation. And then our main character kind of moves through that process of understanding that this is no longer a game. This is real. The aliens are invading. They need our help to kind of step up and help defend Earth. So I thought, again, it was read by Will Wheaton. He did an excellent job in this book. He did a lot of voices like Yoda and Stephen Hawking and stuff. Super fun listen to. I gave this one 4 stars, I think. I thought towards the end there were some plot holes. There's a lot of there's a lot of like lead up and conversations, like build up, but not as much action or moving the storyline forward that I personally would like. I think the whole book takes place over maybe like a 3-day period.
Oh wow,
Something like that, 3 or 4 day period. Not long at all is the point. So there's a lot of conversations and things happening, and then talking about trying to solve, like, something doesn't seem right with these aliens and like how they're attacking and why we know so much.
It sounds very Ender's Game.
It was very.
Like,
it's kind of similar to Ender's Game.
Ender's Game and War Games combined.
Yeah, but at the end, like, you do end up not the end, but like you do end up learning that the truth before you like kill all of the aliens. You know that what you're doing.
Is that a series or is it a standalone?
That's a standalone book.
Okay.
It's the way that it ended. It sounded like there could be more to it, but I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know. I didn't really also go looking. So that was that. I thought it was enjoyable as well. Like I said, I gave that one 4 stars. And then I'm currently reading this book called Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea, by Ursala K. Le Guin. So this is Earthsea as one word. I'm not 100% sure about this one. This is a series. It got excellent reviews about building, this world, and that the author does a really great job with this kind of like magical worlds and system. And I do agree. I think it's building up the world. You learn that there are different types of magic and mages and wizards. Our main character is a magically talented person who meets a wizard, starts learning a little bit about it, and then goes to like wizard school on this island,
like Hogwarts,
kind of like, but it takes place in like there is no technology, so it's like old boats and horses and castles and things like that.
Okay.
The language for me is I have to slow down my reading a little bit to understand the language, and I know that it's a style, right? So the author is like building the style to probably draw us in, using like older words and long phrases when we can just use like 2 words for it. A lot of like run-on sentences separated by commas, which is great because it does bring you in, like, as you're reading, at least for me. Like you pause where the comments are and you build that up. So the sentence structure kind of helps, I think, enhance the story. But I have to slow down to experience that. Otherwise I miss words and things don't make sense if I don't like pause where the comments are and try to break things up and make it make sense in my head. So it's good. Yeah. I don't really understand the main character yet. I'm not his friend yet. Sometimes when you read those stories, like you are on the main character's side, right? Like they're your partner now through this.
You connect with them.
Yeah,
So you haven't
thank you. That's
connected-
the word.
you
Yeah,
haven't
I haven't really
connected.
connected yet with
Gotcha.
the main character, because things kind of jump around a lot. I feel like we're missing a few backstories. Hopefully they'll fill that in later on, but it's entertaining. So
Okay.
far. I think that's all I have for my books.
That's it for it. All right.
That's it for it.
That's it for it.
That's it for it.
So, thank you if you are still watching. It's longer than I thought we were going to be a little bit, but it's under 2 hours, so that's a bonus. So, we will again be at Vogue Knitting live next week. If you're there, definitely feel free to
Definitely come
stop
say
us
hello.
and say hi. We'll
Yeah.
be walking around.
We're
Excited
going with
to
the
go.
posse. We're taking the train up.
Yeah, we're staying in the hotel that the event's taking
Yes.
place at, so that will be a nice change this year for us. And I think that's pretty much it. So we hope that you guys have a good 2 weeks,
Yes.
and then we will see you in a fortnight.
Bye. Or not. We can continue to talk. Bye.